Brian, we're back.
We're back. Cheers, buddy. It's good to be back.
Good to be back, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I mean, like you had to be resilient through this process, didn't
Yeah.
you?
It was mentally difficult, like just to kind of keep plugged in and keep going. It was hard at times.
Yeah, I look at it from like, so obviously you have to look and find like what are the positives that come out of this,
Yep.
and how we had to think about the adaptation of the business model.
Yep.
For one, you sit and listen to these, whatever, people talk about back to the office, right?
Right.
And like you and I don't like the back to work because people have been working whether they're
Right.
in the office
Right,
or not.
right.
But what percentage is coming back and not? And I think we'll all agree, probably irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because we now need these business models that contemplate that we'll have a hybrid model. No matter how this comes out, we will have a hybrid model.
Yeah, I think some of the companies and entities inside of SVA were tilting that way before the pandemic. Certainly ours was. As our business had kind of grew and expanded to the coast, we had started hiring some remote workers there, and out of necessity. But I think what SVA generally learned through the pandemic was it really didn't have borders. And all of a sudden you start seeing, every entity, just looking for the best available talent wherever it's at in the country.
Right.
And so we learned a lot about our business, and we have a greater access to greater talent and better ways to service clients.
And so what I thought was great about that is we had that initiative prior to the pandemic where we talked about the 31 DNA principles that make up SVA, right?
Yep.
The fundamentals.
Yep.
And how important those were as we moved through this, because it's way more now about culture.
Yeah.
And how we make sure the culture sustains and how people ingrain in it, than it is less about the work, right?
Yeah, and for an organization that has different businesses, people from different backgrounds, different kind of, I guess, occupational cultures, they might call it. One of the challenges that we were sort of working on before the pandemic hit was how do you create sort of a oneness or a unity at a firm level across all these different business lanes. And the reality is that the SVA fundamentals came out of that, and there are 31 principles that all of us agree we can align on. And here's the thing that's really interesting is that became an invaluable onboarding tool of new employees who didn't get a chance to come in and walk around the office and get a sense for people in place because we couldn't travel. But we could take them through the things that we knew were really important to us. And they got a sense of sort of what our values were. And really, we transferred our culture to them in that process.
Yeah, and it's so easy now for people to search for jobs that they don't have to physically move to take them.
Yep.
And this grounds us back to some of the really important facets of why people, enjoy what they do and work with us, and why they're at SVA, honestly.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you think about, the fundamentals were intentionally connected to the founders and the founding principles, the things that were important to the people there. And you think of how those now cascade out to people all across the country who really never had a chance to experience, the founding generation and understand how a nearly 50-year-old firm sort of came to be. But they can live inside of sort of the value system that's made it this strong for this long, right? It's really, really powerful.
Yeah, I think what's great is, so forget the technology, because I think we had adopted the remote technology, quite some time ago, honestly. And so I think we had maybe a bit of easier transition with that. What this allows us to do as business owners in an organization is really think about how we become that purpose-driven organization.
Correct.
How we provide that opportunity for our teams to feel some connection to our mission, et cetera.
Yep.
And it lets us focus on what's really important in our business.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we learned a lot, I think as a society and certainly as an entity, of how to take remote workers and make them not feel like they're the exception.
Yep, agreed.
And sort of like making them feel part of the community. In many ways, the remote workers who were remote workers going into the pandemic actually now had a level playing field with every other worker in the business because everybody was remote. And we learned some great practices there about how to get them included, make them feel like they're valued, make them feel like they're part of the organization. I don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
Like I want to remember what we did there.
So safe to say, kind of our culture, our purpose, and certainly our people are the factors that make us a resilient organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed. Awesome.
Cheers.